All right, class. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so your instructor will join in an hour. So I'm going to take over the session until he join. Yesterday, you guys stopped on slide number 21, which was on download and install software, Linux part 3. So that's where we're going to be picking up from today. So I'm seeing 5 person here. Let's give you additional 2 minutes so we can get into business, please. All right, class, let's start. Whoever come late, they're going to join and flow the session. Now, recording is already in progress. Welcome, Kelvin. Welcome, Leighton, Teddy. Welcome, Kodan. Welcome, Amara. All right, so download and install software. This topic is very essential because it helps you, right, to identify and understand the various approach when it comes to software downloads and installation. Now, we have come to know that when you hear about software installation, you think about your Windows computer, right? You think about your physical computer, like your Windows computer, you install Office 365, you install the whole suite, you install antivirus, you install other dependency, right? Other drivers on your computer. You install your printer driver, or your device for like a camera driver, you install anything that any output device, right? You go through the process of installation. You download it from the internet, and then you go through the process of installation and get it installed on your system. Now, as a Linux system administrator, you will not be using Windows more often, okay? Your friend is not the GUI. Your friend will be the command line interface, which we call the CLI, all right? So when it comes to the CLI approach or the Linux system administrator approach of software download installation, there are various tools that are responsible to download software and install them, okay? Now, they said when working with Windows system, we use download and install software from the internet step by step, right? Like I just explained. On Linux system, we can do this through the command line interface. Now, there's a package manager that we call Yum. All right. Yum is a package manager for every server that belongs under the distribution of Red Hat. All right. For every server that belongs to the distribution of Red Hat, Fedora, and Debian. I mean, not Debian, but CentOS. So when it comes to the distribution of Linux system administration software or Linux software as a whole, we use what we call package manager. So Yum, whenever you're running a Yum install, meaning the server for which that Yum install should be ran on, it should be either a CentOS, it should be Red Hat, it should be Fedora. Okay? So in short, Yum is a package manager for Red Hat. So Yum is a command we use to download and install software on Linux system. We can even use it to download other commands on our system too as well. Anything you want to install, you have to use Yum because Yum is the package manager for that, especially when you own CentOS or Red Hat system. Now, some of you might say, okay, what's about Ubuntu, right? When you are using Ubuntu, Ubuntu belongs to the class of server that particularly fall under the distribution of Debian, Debian, or you call it Debian, right? Now it's called Ubuntu. So Ubuntu package manager is not Yum. Ubuntu package manager is called APT. All right, I want you to take note because when you sit for the interview as a Linux system admin, they're going to be asking you these key questions. Now, we also have another package manager. We call it what, RP-ish, right? Or RPT. All of those package managers belongs to CentOS or Red Hat. But the popular package manager that we always use is called Yum or APT. If the server is an Ubuntu server, you should be using APT to install anything. If it is a Linux CentOS server or Red Hat, you should be using Yum. Understood? So it gives you an example here, right? It said, let's say we want to download Finger. To download Finger, you say Yum install Finger. So that is the process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share, so I'm going to power on my barboard, my server here, so we can run this command. Can everybody see my server?
Yeah.
I'm just going to increase the font size here for you all. Let me increase the font size. Oh, did I hit decrease instead of increase? Okay, I believe the font size is significant for everybody. All right. So this is a server, right? This server, that's what I'm using for the lab. So every computer that I run this server, you should be doing the same thing on your server. But what I like for class to do is listen to me and grab the logic. Once you grab the logic, you can go on your server and apply what you just grab, right? Then that means you know exactly why we're doing it. So we are doing this because we want to exercise or implement the package manager for what? Red Hat, which we call Yum. So to do that, we say, if you see me, my pound meaning I'm a root user, pwd, my present working directory say I'm in /root. So I have become root. So make sure when you're on your server, you should become root. But guess what? When you be working tomorrow in real time, you will never see what we call root unless you've been given a permission, which is called all admin entitlement. All admins entitlement. Then you can oversee servers as a root user. But before you get that, then you must have been there, or as an administrator, you can apply for that entitlement. But it is not just something that you can get your first day on the job. You got to spend 2, 3 to 6 months before you can even get those entitlements. All right. So understand the difference between what? A super user and a root user. All right. So if you exit from here, you become what? Just a regular user. You understand? Now, if you say sudo -r, it takes you to a root user. But then there is also a user called the super user, because when you can be in this file and be put in what we call the sudo file for you to execute certain tasks, administrative tasks. Whenever you are put in that category, you become a super user. So let it all become root, and then let's run this command. Now, like I said, right? What server is this? Can anybody tell me? Is this a CentOS server? How do we know that this is a CentOS server or the Linux server? I mean, or the any kind of server. How do we know? Can somebody tell me what's the name of this server?
Ubuntu.
Yes, it is an Ubuntu server. How do we know that it's an Ubuntu server? Can somebody tell me?
What was the question again?
How do I know that this server I'm working with is an Ubuntu or a CentOS server? Any question on that?
Yes, sorry, I thought I was speaking. I was muted already. I said, you can either know that you are working on Ubuntu or CentOS when you log into the server, because when you log in, it will ask you for the username. It's either Ubuntu or maybe at EC2. So if you are using CentOS, sometimes they come with at EC2, maybe different server. But right here, we can see that it's Ubuntu from the name up there.
Okay, so we can see it from the name, right? But let's say it's setting, right? In the real world or in real time, you won't be logging in the server and be using a user called Ubuntu. You understand? You're going to be using the IP address, which is your ID at your IP address to log onto a server, because it is enterprise. So you have to adapt to the enterprise domain. So in that case, how will you know that the server is a Linux server? I mean, is an Ubuntu server or a CentOS server or a Red Hat server? That's the question I was asking. For now, for the sake of the class, right? Because you guys can see here, right? We are using these servers. So when you log into the server, it tells you that there's an Ubuntu, right? Because we are using the Ubuntu user, right? So everybody can recognize this as Ubuntu. But in a case wherein you are on the job and your job asks you to take a full inventory of the server, you understand? What you can do is there's a script that you guys run yesterday, right? You ran that script yesterday to grab details about the server. So in that case, you can automate that task to grab that detail as well. Sometimes you can run this command on some distribution. It might be deprecated or not to give you the full output, but you can run this command uname -a. Do you see that? So if you run that command will give you full detail about the computer, about that server that you own. If it is an Ubuntu, it will tell you it is Ubuntu. So let's get to where we. So since indeed we know that this is an Ubuntu, right? So we're going to be running the command called apt, because it is not a CentOS anymore. So we say apt install finger. What you see there, guys? It did install it, right? Look here, look at that. It installed it. It is installed. Install the software that I wanted to install called Finger. Finger is just a package, right? It is a package. That part of the system, and all that is system name, for upgradation and other stuff. So the command to install the Finger is called apt install Finger. Clear my screen. I can say apt install what? Docker, right? .ro -y. And guess what? We're going to go out there and install Docker. So guys, that's what we call package manager. So the package manager for CentOS is called Yum, while the package manager for Ubuntu is called what? apt. Understood? I'm going to get back to our slides. Now, software download installation. We have to understand the processes, how we go about downloading software, the package manager, right? If you don't understand it, please let me know. But that is the package, the two package managers, popular package managers that we use to do those things. All right. So we went through the process, we give it an example, and we move on to slide 22. It says, to be able to download and install software with Yum, you need to make sure you have an internet connection. Yep, because guys, if you don't have an internet connection, you cannot download these things. Now, somebody will tell me, say, how can this be done in a real-time environment? Let's say you're working, let's say Kelvin works with Meta, Facebook, right? And Karen were told to automate some tasks and he needed to download some package. Karen does not need to go on the internet to download it. You know why? Facebook, Karen is on an enterprise environment, that he's on a network, an intranet, not the internet. You understand? In a real-time environment, you don't go on the internet that easily. Okay? There is a network and there is an organizational repository. You understand? That is mapped to that network that has all of the packages. So that repository talk to the internet through some secure means, very secure means. All right. So when Kevin issued a command called apt install Docker, it will go straight into the repository and find that Docker package and bring it in the server to install it. So please, when you intervene for job tomorrow, when somebody asks you in your company, did you just go on the internet to download? Do not say yes, please. They will cut the interview off. All right. I hope you guys found that interesting. That is very, very important for you to take into consideration. We don't go on the internet that easy. All right. Got it, everybody? So it says you should check your internet connection, right? To make sure you're on the internet. How do we check our internet connection? How do we make sure we are on the internet? Can somebody tell me? How can I make sure that I'm on the internet? It's right in front of you guys. Look there and tell me.
Ping google.com.
Yes. Not just Google, but and then domain, right?
Mhm.
If you are getting the ICMP response, that means you can talk to the internet. So let us do that, guys. Let's do that. I'm going to clear my screen here, and I'm going to say ping it. That is Google. And then I hit enter. Look at that. It gave me a response. Package is being sent, package is being received. You see that? Package is being sent and package is being received. You see that? Packet was sent. Or you can say ping GOOGLE apt.com, right? That's the same Google. Look at that. Package being sent and package being received. You can also say ping Facebook.com, right? Look at that. Package being sent and package being received. That's how we know that, yes, indeed, we are on the internet. Let me move to the next slide. So you can check the number of software you are able to access and install with Yum by running this. So repo list will also, tell you the number of software, that you can access and install with Yum, right? You can also do the same thing for Ubuntu too as well. So the same command, you can just replace it and then do the same command for Ubuntu as well. They're going to give you the same output. So apt repo list repo list. So it's an invalid operation. Let me see and make sure the command is not deprecated. Repo list. Let me go and apply again. If it does not work, then that command is deprecated. So apt repo. Yeah, the command is deprecated. So we don't use that command anymore to find the list of software we got access to. So disregard that. We're gonna update that with a new command that we can use it. But that is not important. The important aspect here is for you to know the difference or the similarity between Yum and apt. So the next slide is the let install software finger we did, right? We use apt to install finger, And then you can also only install software from your system. To do that, you must run the following command, remove. So look here, guys. If we say, since we have installed finger, right? If we say apt remove finger, right? You see that? I say yes, it's gonna remove it. And you see it say removing finger, it get remove finger. So if you want to remove software from your system, which is called our uninstall software, right? The same way you go to control panel and uninstall software, that's the same way you can go here and remove the software. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. So the process of downloading and installing software is just simple, right? If you master your command line, guys, please master CLI. Linux is not GUI friendly. There is nothing you're going to see and then graphic, anything. No. We love the dash screen because the dash screen is where we live as engineers. All right. So that should be your home as a Linux system admin. For now, I call you Linux system admin because that's the course for which you are doing, right? If you get to another course, I will assign a title on you. So don't just think that, okay, that's just Linux we're doing in this school. No. But for now, that's the course you are doing. If you focus on this, you walk out of Linux tomorrow, you can go get a job as a sysadmin. Because everything that sysadmin is supposed to do, user permission, file permission, all of these things, that's what exactly you're going to be doing. Now, you can use this package manager to install any software, Apache, SQL, and all of those stuff. You can use the rest now to put the logic that you have learned and apply it by installing other software on your own. Now, there is a link. I mean, there is a package manager we call wget. Wget is what we use to download the software if the software is not in your system. Remember, we've been using apt install, right? Did we use anything called apt download? No. So to download a software, we use what we call a wget, right? We use wget to download a software. How do we go about doing this? Let us first install wget, everybody. Open your system and install wget. To install wget, we say what? Depends on the distribution you're using. I'm using apt or Ubuntu. So I say apt install gget. That's what we call wget. It already installed because it has been part of my package manager ever since. You might see the same thing there for you as well. All right, so has everyone installed wget?
Yes.
Yep. Go ahead, Leighton. I see your hands up.
Yeah, I was trying to run the install the ping Google, and my machine just keep reading. We are trying to click Control L, but still unable to do it.
Control C.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I said it.
Okay. So can you install wget?
Yeah,
Did everybody
yeah,
install wget? Kelvin,
Yes.
Amara, Kuna?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. So wget is a package used to download, all right? So we're going to put this into action, guys. Let's go on the internet. Everybody, go back on the internet. Let's go on the internet and see something. I'm going to go on the internet and search for something and search for a link that I will download and search for a package to download, all right? I'm looking for Ubuntu antivirus. Which is, so one of Ubuntu antivirus that we always install on our system is called Anaconda. We are heard about Anaconda. I'm not talking about the Snaggle. I'm talking about the antivirus. You know, Anaconda is a very robust antivirus that we use. So I'm going to copy that link, the download link, so we can install it. If you have any other software that you want to install, just go on the internet, copy the link. All right? When I say copy the link, just the link though. We are not clicking there to go install. Remember, our friend is not a GUI. We're going to go in there to go copy link. Look for the actual suitable software. Okay. All right. So download. Oh boy. Download link for Anaconda. So they got a download link for Anaconda. I right click here. I'm going to paste the link in the chat, okay? So you guys can take that link. That is the download link for Anaconda. It's right there. So what we're going to do, we're going to open our barboard. What we're trying to accomplish here, guys, we are trying to tell you that we can use wget to download, all right? While we were using apt install as a package manager to install any software or package, we can also use wget to download, okay? So let us do that. I'll send that link in the chat. Wget space, right click, and click on paste to put a link there. And then you hit enter. You see there? Look at that. It just downloaded the software for you. Do it and let me know that you are there.
I got response 200.
Yep. But at the top down, you will see what we call what? Download, right? See that?
Yeah,
It will say download safe.
yeah.
And
Connected.
guys, let me just say this. Whenever you doing something and give you a HTTP response status code 200 is a positive response that every engineers look for. Okay? 404, boom, something is happening. Bar gateway. 403, boom, access denied. 500, boom, internal servers error. You understand? You got to understand the error code. Are we all there?
Yeah, but it says, okay. Unable to locate package.
Exactly what I'm getting here to unable to locate package.
So the two of you did get
Yeah.
unable to locate package.
Yeah.
So for the two of us, what?
Did the two of you guys got unable to locate package?
Yes.
And Amara, did you get what is on my screen?
Yes, I did.
Kelvin, what's up with you?
It said unable to upload package, but I'm redoing it.
All right, so make sure you have wget download. I mean wget install. Did you guys install wget?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You installed
It don't.
you installed wget, right?
Yeah.
So when you install wget, the link that I gave you, did you write wget space and then you right click to paste that link and hit enter?
And then at APD install wget, then you attach the link, space.
No. You don't attach link. Look at the
Wait.
comment on my screen. God, I'm always changing this password. Do you guys see the comment that I enter here?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. All right.
It should not give you unable to locate package. It should download the package for you.
Okay, let me see that.
Welcome, George.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Okay.
it did.
I get it.
All right. So can you guys tell me what you have missing?
All right. What I had missing was I said, instead of just saying wget with a link, I said install wget.
Okay, that's why you got what
I'll
you
go
got.
to download it. So you
All
saw
right.
it.
All right. So Conan, what was the not Conan, but Leighton, what was your error?
Yeah. I said APT download. Download on I put a link in. That's how it was.
You spelled the word download, APT download.
Yeah, I'm spelling all. That's where I'm using my error.
But listen though, why did you spell download?
I don't really know.
So,
I guess so.
okay. What I want you guys to do for me is when I'm presenting or when your instructor presenting, anything we're telling you to put on that screen, that's what we want you to put. You understand?
Yes.
Download is not part of Linux. We don't spell out those things when we're doing those things, all right? Remember I said wget is one of the packages that we use to download software, right? And I said, let us install wget. We say apt install wget, which we did install wget. Now the next thing was for us to actually put it into our execution, right? So we went and got the link for Ubuntu antivirus called Anaconda. This is the antivirus that belongs to Ubuntu. So we copied that link, and then we said, since we have already installed wget, let us use wget to download this antivirus called Anaconda. So we said wget space, then we right click and put the link. So that's what you see here, it resolved and it gave you a status response of 200 OK status, which did download it and save it to the download file. All right, I want for everybody to follow this approach. Do not follow any approach that is contrary from this. All right, please. Any question? I see Chris is here. Chris, when you're ready, let me know, please. All right, Chris, are you back?
Yeah. I'm here. Just give me 1 second. Let me
Okay.
reclaim my holes and everything.
No problem. Take your time.
You started recording, right?
Yes, it's been recorded.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay.
Let me connect to my server here, and then we can start.
All right. So, guys, if you look at the slide number 27, what it did mention, that's what we just completed, right? It said you can go in and use wget and download the software. So this project was specifically on Anaconda, which is an antivirus. So we went there, we download Anaconda successfully. So we finished with this slide. So it's the same thing about wget, right? Look here, guys. You see what wget is doing? It's also downloading another kernel of Linux. You know, it's the same process. So use the logic or the process that you just apply, which was on wget Anaconda to do your practice and install all your software you want to install on your Linux box. Okay, you can install any Linux kernel, any image, ISO image you want to install is up to you. You can download it. All right, not install but download it. So wget is specifically using this path for download, not install. If you want to install, be using apt. Apt is a package manager we use to install software. wget is used to download software. There are two, there's a difference, all right? Know that. Another useful tip, you can start typing the name of the file and then use tabulation keys to autocomplete. We all used to this, right? Tell me. And we can make our life easier by using this. Remember when some of you typing comment, I say use the tab key. Just hit the tab key, make your life easy. It will autocomplete. That's the tip we're just giving you here. All right. The pipe. Interesting topic. Chris, let me know when you're back so you can claim the host.
Yeah, I already claimed host. I'm just logging in now to my remote server.
Okay. So the pipe, what do we use this for? When we say pipe, it's not the other pipe that you guys thinking about though. Yeah, this is a very interesting pipe. All right. Now, Linux will open your eye to a lot of interesting things, and Linux will guide you throughout in your DevOps or cloud engineering career. If you don't know Linux, you cannot be a cloud engineer. You cannot be a DevOps engineer. That is the secret. Many people don't know. So, guys, let's go to the next slide. We'll say what? In Linux, these tools we use these tools in Linux, or we use it as a command line interface to combine 2 or more commands, right? So when we pipe in, we are combining 2 or more commands and what? Looking for a difference or looking for certain output. All right. So we can pipe the output of a command and pass it through another command. The syntax is what? Command pipe, command 2, command 3, and then etc. Let's combine the two together. So it is a very powerful operator, guys. It is very powerful, used in a command line to pass the output of a command to another command. So it enables changing multiple commands together to perform complex tasks. Let's say, for instance, you operating or you are on a server, but then there are certain things that you're looking for on that server that you cannot find easily by using the find command. You can pipe on your command line to give you that particular command. All right? You can pipe it to give you that command. Now, before you pipe it, you can use two commands that we said. Let's say, for instance, let me open my bad boy again. Let me clear my screen. Let me do LL. So I have all of these files here. I have all of these files. So I will say touch report, right? I want to create this called report. Now, let me do something. I say ls. Ls is a command, right, guys? Am I right? Ls is a command. If I do ls, it will list, right? So therefore, I say ls dash I space, and then I pipe it. I pipe it, and then I say grep for what? Report, meaning I'm looking for report. Do you see there? It went there and found that report. Because I'm combining two commands together. So the output of a two command, that's why I'm combining together to achieve certain thing, which is my end destination is for me to get report. But do you know how long it would take me if I were to navigate through all of these files to CD and go get report? It would take me a long time. So we use this kind of command as a Linux system administrator, guys. The command you see is simple, right? But those are commands that when it catch you, you take hours for you to be able to realize how you can navigate to find a certain file, especially if you're dealing with infantry where you got to access a certain host to make sure you get an IP from there. Man, it would take you so many things to do, especially when you're on a server that is very robust. It takes you a long time. So this is a command that we use to combine two commands together. The output of a two command to get a particular command or output that we're looking for. In this case, we are looking for report, right? So if you do what LL, report is in here, but it is a file, right? So if you do ls, you see report here, right? But then assume that this was this was a file that is in a folder that you cannot locate easily. So by grabbing that, you're going to find it. So that's why we use that command called what? Pipe. So we use pipe. And what is the command here? This is the only command that we call pipe. The rest of it is just a what? Output command that we're using to achieve it. So I'm going to stop here and turn it over to your instructor so he can take over.
All right, AD. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, I apologize. I had a mixed up with my computers. When you have multiple computers, sometimes you can mix it up, and that's what happened today. All right. So thank you again, AB, for that, wonderful, presentation. Appreciate it. So guys, type just to close, I think that was the last slide on that particular PowerPoint. Let me see here. Yeah, that was the last slide. Pipe. So pipe is very interesting. Just to kind of throw some emphasis on what AB was saying. It's a very, very, very interesting command. All right. You can use it to grab certain information from a huge file. Let's say, for instance, let me just give you a couple of examples, okay? In addition to what AB showed you. Let's go to a directory called varlog. Varlog is where you have most of the logs for the system. All right, if we add that in here, we have a lot of logs in here. Right? It's a log in here supposed to be let me see. Okay, we have syslog because it's a Ubuntu server.
We can see your screen.
Wait. Oh yeah, sorry guys. Let me share. Sorry, my bad. Share. You can see my screen now, right? Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let me go back here in one couple of directories. All right, PWD, I'm in my root directory, right? So what I was saying is that just to throw some more emphasis on that command, it's a very interesting command. It's very useful. I use that almost every day on my job. Let's go to CD varlog. Varlog is a directory where most of the system logs goes. If we add L into varlog, you can run this command along with me. All right. So system log is because it's Ubuntu uses syslog. Ubuntu is a Fedora flavor, use syslog. If there was a Red Hat, let's go to Red Hat. Red Hat would be messages. Let's go to CD var log. You log in here. We have messages. See messages here? Ubuntu have syslog. Red Hat have messages. But these are all the system logs in here. Now, if you look at the size of this log right here, is what? 1 point something gig in size. Now, if you want to look, let's say cat, right? Let's cat this message log, these messages right here. Let's cat it, right? See in here? So can you imagine going through the log trying to find something? You're going to take half of your day at work just trying to find an error, or if there's something wrong with the system, you're trying to find what's wrong with the system. You're going to take forever to do that, going through 1 point something gig of logs, right? So in order for us to not go through the whole log line by line, wasting all our time, we can use the pipe grep command to grab certain information that we're looking for. How do we do that? Same thing AB was just saying. So in order for us to grab this message, the command I just ran, cat, right? Cat messages. Now, I'm telling the system, show me the content of this file called messages, but I want you to grab, pipe grab, let's say successful, successful, right? Only successful I want to see out of that whole log. So I ran my cat command, show me, which is show the content of this file messages, but I want you to only type and grab successful out of that on the thousands of lines of or logs we have in there. You hit enter. What do we have here? We have all successful, right? Successful, or whatever. So if I were looking for the system to see whether the system was able to activate or deactivate successfully, I'm only looking for successful in a thousands of logs. And now will give you all the lines that have successful in it. You get what I'm saying? So let's try something else again. Let's move successful and put error. Say maybe the system was down or the system is slow. You want to know if there was any error that the system log, that in the system log. What do? We pipe grep error. There's no error in our messages. Okay, let's say the system went down. Want to know whether there's any message in our log that says shut down, right? We're just going to put down. You see, there's a couple of shutdowns. Reach target shutdown. So out of that thousands of logs, do you know how long it will take you to find these two lines? It will going to take you at least a good amount of time. So that's how important this grep command, this pipe command is. And pipe always go with what? Grep. It always goes with grep. All right, this is Red Hat. Let's go back to Ubuntu. Same thing here. If we want to check syslog, we can use the same command, right? So let's just start from where we started from or in Red Hat. So we say cat. We're looking for syslog right here. All right. This is all we have in syslog. You see how many logs we have in this file? It's a lot. It's a lot. And then we're not even plenty more than the other one. But say we have a few errors in here. So let's tell the machine, show me what's in this file, but we only want you to show us errors. So we'll say pipe grep error. There we go. All the lines that is associated with errors in our log, this is what you have right here. Guys, so you got the idea, right? Are we together? Yeah, answer me now.
Yes.
Okay. So that's it about pipe and grep. You just use it to grab certain information that you need in a particular file or a particular directory. Okay, it's a very useful tool, and it will be good to familiarize yourself with it. All right. Just give me 1 second here. Let me user and group. Right. So users and group. We touched a little bit about this over the past few days, this week and last week. User and group. How to create a user. We created a user called John, and we created one user called Tony. We created another user called Chris. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into this. How to add a user to our account and with a specific group. All right. So we're going to create groups. We're going to create a user account in the group. We're going to add or delete our user account. We're going to modify user account. Guys, if you get a job as a Linux system administrator, this is a very key component of your job. They call it user management. Why is it important? I give an example about this when we did permission, right? You need to create groups and assign users to those groups based on what? On the role, the department they work in, what privilege they have, what permission they have. You need to group them. If you don't do that, you're going to have users floating around having unnecessary permission to certain information they're not supposed to have information to. So user management is a key component as a Linux system administrator. Okay. What do we need user group? So in company, we often have many groups of employees. Like I was saying earlier, you have managers, CEOs, security agents, and etc. So for employees to log onto the same computer but access different content and resources, something must be done. The company can manage that by creating groups and adding each user to a specific group depending on its function. I can't overstate that. That's what I just said earlier. You must create groups so that employees will have access to certain function or certain information in the company. Because not everybody should have the same privilege. How do we create a group? All right. Let me use my other screen here so I can switch over to my terminal. All right. How do we create group? So we're not using VisualBox anymore. I have a command to get IP address to server. Okay, connect remotely to server. Yes, SSH. Yes. All right. They were just telling how to use your VisualBox and log into the server. I don't know why it's on here, but let's move on. All right. So creation of group. To create a group on a server, we use the command group add. Just how we say user add, right? User add, we say group add. Linux is kind of simple and they can be complex at sometimes. But to create group, user add or group add. To create user add the name of the group. Okay, so to create the group called manager, You say group add manager. Guys, let's go into practice. Open your terminal. I want everybody to open a terminal, whatever you're using. I'm hoping that we're all using Mobile Extern. And let us do this together. Okay? So let's go into our home directory. This is where we have most of our stuff. In here, we have our directory we opened the last time. We created my first directory. Okay? So we can use our home directory for most of our stuff. So please CD to home directory, CD home, CD home. When you CD to home, please type in the chat, yes. I have already CD into home, so I'm gonna type yes in here. Tamara is there.
Yeah.
Waiting for y'all. Everybody, please. Good job. Linton is there. Kona is there. Kelvin is there. Who else? I didn't even say hi to the students today. Yeah, hi to everybody. How you doing? Big brother Kevin is there. Is Benu on today? Let me see who are in class today. Then you need to come on. I see George. Okay. All right. All right, guys. So everybody CD into the home directory now, right? So how do we create our group? What do we say? Group at manager. Can everybody run a command? Please create a group called manager. Group at manager. Are we there?
Yes. No.
Perfect. Good, perfect. Now, how do we access the group we just created?
ID manager.
ID manager.
No. Not
All right, let's try that.
No.
Let's try that. Okay, it doesn't hurt to
No,
try it. If we're
No,
wrong, the
that's not
system will
it.
tell us.
Yeah.
And the system tell we're wrong.
Yeah, we're right.
Can I try?
Yes, Tamara, please do.
I'm going to cat etc group.
Perfect. Don't forget, right? I told you all the system
Yeah.
for configuration is in the etc directory.
You're right.
Anything that has to do with password, user, system configuration, IP tables, everything is in our etc directory. So when we created our user the last time, we assigned password to that user, right? How did we work? How did we access the password for that user? We went to what? Cat etc and
Yep.
then shadow. Now, there are certain files or directories that you will not see on the system,
That was
but they
mine.
do exist for security reason. What am I saying? Let's go to the SC directory, right? Let's go to CD /SC. If I can say SC right now. All right. If we LL into this SC directory, right? Do we see any file or directory in here called shadow? Your logo.
Yes.
Okay.
So shadow, right? I think. Yeah, right here. Red side HTML. We have
Yeah.
shadow. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So this shadow command, or not command, this shadow file was created users, yes, or not yesterday, right? Was it yesterday? Yeah, we created one user yesterday. But last week, we actually assigned a password to the user we created. All right. When we created our password, the password came right in there in this directory. It came right in here. Now, what are we looking for now? We're looking for group, right? Answer me now. And we're looking for group. We just created group.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look in here. Do we have group in here?
Yes, yes.
We have group.
I see.
Group
Yeah,
is right
good.
here.
Yeah, right there.
It's right in here. So if you look here, you see what EC2 version, EC2 configuration, DHCP configuration. All the configuration file is in this directory. Don't forget this. All configuration file is right within this directory. Okay? So group is right here. So on log in here right now, we're going to see the group we just created. Okay, Chris, prove it to us. That cat group, right? My group as a. All right, let's just grab GR tab UP. What do we have here? In a manager we just created. This manager, yesterday we created Tony. That Tony right here. Week before we created John and Chris. That both of them in here. The system created Ubuntu. The system created Crony. Crony is a user, is associated with a service that we'll get to know about it later on. So there are system users, but these are the users we created on the system, not user number group we created. Okay? Don't forget, when we created Chris, we did not assign Chris to a specific group. So the system automatically called the group Chris. Okay. What are you talking about, Chris? Let's look at it. CD1 on 8 ID Chris. What do we have here? The user ID for Chris is 101. The name is what? Chris. The group ID, GID mean group ID what? Is 101. The group name is what? Chris. Others, 101, Chris. So to change this now, to assign a specific group ID or group name to Chris, that's what we're going to do today. When we created Chris, we didn't do that. That's why the system automatically assign everything to Chris, and 101, 101, 101, 101, and so forth. All right. So let's go into this. We already ran the etc command. We already saw the group that we just created. All right. Let's move on. Now, since the file etc group is long, you can display just 3 lines by using the command tail. I love Linux. Guys, when we ran cat group, can we tell how many group in the file? We can't even count it. It's a lot, right? Yeah, root right here. It's a lot. So we don't want to show all the lines in this file because it's just too much information. So what do? We cut it down. We'll run the group command. We're going to say tail -3. This tail is telling the system to go to the bottom of that file and grab the last 3 lines. Why are we grabbing the last 3 lines? It could be 1, it could be 2. We're grabbing the last 3 lines so that we can see the last 3 users instead of the system populating the whole screen with all those groups. All right. So when we say tail, we'll put our command in front of it. etc. Then we say what? Group. What do we have here? Manager, Tony, and John. Are we running these commands, guys? If I'm moving too fast, let me know. I can slow things down a little bit. Okay, but I want you to grab this. You use tail to grab. Okay, let's use this tail command in a different scenario, right? Let's go back to that CD log directory that we did earlier on. When I say cat, this is it Ubuntu? Yeah, this is Ubuntu. Cat syslog, right? Why are they thinking autocomplete for me? Syslog is a lot of information. So we only want to see the last 100 line in syslog. How do we do it? We'll say tail, right, dash 100 syslog. 100 lines. 102 even is too much. So let's reduce it. All right. Let's just say 10. All right. Let's say 10. 10 lines. Again, tail command is very useful on the job. When you install a system, you want to see the most recent logs. What do? You tilt it. So it only show you the amount you want to see at a time. You can also use tail-F. Tail-F will make you to follow this log. Follow the log, meaning as the log is coming in, the system is going to be displaying it. Let's do that. Right now, we don't have any logs coming in. We don't have any logs coming in right now. But if there was logs coming in, you will see the live data displaying because of that -F that you put there. All right, let's go back on track. We're deviating a little bit too deep. Linux is deep, so we're gonna go into this. We'll get to keep going deeper and deeper. Now, let's create another group called security, right? Guys, as I'm creating this group, let us do it together, please. Let's do it together. Can somebody give me the command to create the group called security? I want to create a group called security. How do we do that? Somebody put a hand up. I was supposed to start calling your name. Somebody please tell me, how do we create the group
Okay, I
called
think
security?
yeah, maybe if I'm wrong, security add, I don't know, because we have group add. Me, I'm just using the same logic as security add. The name of the group. I don't know if I'm wrong.
Security add?
Maybe
No.
because we have group add, user add. I'm just saying.
We need to create a group called security. How do we create that group? Guys, the command to create any group is called group add. Okay? Don't confuse yourself, man. It's group add. Group ADD. And then we say security. Security. That's it. Create a group called security. Group add security. Okay? Create a group called how do we call it? Engineers. You guys are all engineers in this class, right? Group add engineer. How do we see this group that we just created? How? We can say tail -3 etc group, and we'll show the last 3 group we have in the group in that particular group. We have engineer, security, and manager. That's the last 3 group we just created. We can increase it to 5, and we'll show the last 5 right there. Are we getting the concept, or are we confused about something? Speak up now or forever hold your peace. Are we good?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay. Let me increase my font size a little bit so you guys can see it better. All right, do the same thing here. If you're getting confused with anything, guys, we're all here to learn. Even me here, I'm not teaching you because I know everything. I'm teaching you because I know some things that can be useful to you. So let us learn together, okay? All right, let's go back here. PowerPoint. Went over these, went over these, went over these. All right, user add user to group and remove user from group. Now we talk about the importance of grouping the employees in the company, right? Privileges level, access, management, user management, and stuff like that. That's why it's important. Now, creation of user account in a group. You may want to create a user account with specific option like a user in a particular user group, a user with specific user ID, a user with a specific shell. To do that, we cannot just use a simple user add command. How then can we to create a user with various options? A shell is a program on the system that interprets the commands you run, like the Ubuntu, as like a shell. There are many shells, bash, Kong, C shell, okay? Bash is what we're using on our Ubuntu and Red Hat, okay? C shell, I think C shell is more for, how they call it, Windows. Kong, I really don't know much about this one, so you can do some research on it, all right? The shell we have been using so far is bash, like I said earlier, all right? All right. So why is it that the account we create in our lesson on clone SSH never has such option? It worked perfectly because user add command had a different default setting. All right. The default setting that we have on user add that one I showed you guys earlier when our ID creates, what do we see? We had user ID was 1003. We had a group ID was 1003, and we had others ID was 1003. The system automatically set that up by default. That's what I was telling you earlier on. All right, let's go into some practical stuff here. Okay, so let's create a new user. All right, let's create a new user. Create a new user here. Let me switch over to my screen. All right, let's switch over here. Let's create a new user. What user do we want to create now? Anybody throw one name out there? Any name? Or should we use one of the user who already created? Do everybody have tuning created on the system? Yes or no?
Depending on what?
Does everybody have the user called tuning we created yesterday on the system?
Yes, I think I created 20 yesterday.
Okay. RD tuning. Guys, please RD tuning. Tell me what you have tuning in your system. Teddy, you're writing some stuff on the screen. I don't know what you're doing with your computer.
Yes, I have
Yeah,
20.
the computer running another program.
Okay, can you make that program not to put the red marks on our screen? Or you can pause the program for now. Okay, everybody have Tony?
Yes, I have.
I don't want us to create a new user who already have one.
I have 20.
Okay, if you don't have Tony, just run the command called by not group now. This is a user. So user add Tony, okay? Now you tell me Tony already exists because I already have Tony. So please create Tony if you don't have him. Then we can move on. All right. Before we start running commands, let's come back here and grab something. Let's grab some concepts. Okay. Let's grab some concepts. Now, let's do some research on user add command and man user add. There's a command called man, M-A-N. So if you want to make a if you want to do a research or you want to know more about any command you run on the system, right? You can do it right here on your command line. Okay. Man, let's have a group add. I want to spell it, account for me. Group add, man group add. This will tell you everything you need to know about group add command. What do we see here? Name, group add. What does it say? Create a new group. Group add option, new group. Now, description. Everything about this command is right in this description. Now, we have the different handles, right? The different option for group add. We have -F. -H is what? False. This option calls the command to simply exit with success status if the specific group already exists. When used with -G, the specified GID, which is the group ID, already exists, and then a unique group ID is chosen by the system. -G is what? Turn off. Now, this -G right here that was referenced in the sentence. We have -H, which is for help. We have the uppercase K. We override what? The etc login -def. So everything you need to know about that command, you find it right in here. Everything is right in here. That's how you research a command on a Linux system. Now let's check another one. You hit Control C to get out of here. Let me see. Okay, G to quit. Okay. Manual page group outline. A, press H for help. Or G. Is that a G over here? Let me move this thing and see good. No, Q to quit. Okay, that's a Q, not G. I think it's Control. What I can get out of here?
Just Q.
You just did?
Yeah, just Q. Then you press Q.
Yeah, my stuff is not. Let me click back in here. Okay, there we go. I was clicked out of here. That's why. All right. So we can man another command. What command we want to man, guys? What command I want to make research on? Any command. Okay. Let's do LL. Maybe you're not forget all your command. No manual entry for LL. Okay, that's fine. No command and no manual entry for that. So let's say man touch. Let's see. There we go. So touch, change file, timestamps. Update the access and modify time. I'm not going to take too much time reading all of this. Okay? But the idea is know how to research command. If you need more information about that command, you can do it right on your CLI. That's the idea behind this. All right? So let's move on. If we come back here to our slides, we have different options. You can check the use of each option, but here we have some specific option we are looking for. We have user add -C. What's the function of -C? Lowercase c. It helps us to give a description to the account. Example, the user's what? Full name. So when you want to create a user, you want to put a full name, you gotta add a -c somewhere within that command. We're gonna get to it. But just take note of this. There's lowercase g, there's uppercase g. Lowercase g is what? For the group name. If you want to name the group. If you remember, when we add the tuning, let's go back to tuning. When we add the tuning, right? The group ID for tuning is what? The name is tuning, right? So if we want to change that, we'll add a lowercase g and then write a good name. It helps us to specify the user's primary group. Uppercase G is for secondary group. So maybe Tony is a manager for human resource. Or we'll create a group called manager and we'll have another group called human resource. Tony has to be part of the manager group and part of the human resource group. So in that kind of scenario, we will use both uppercase and what? Lowercase g. Take note. -m. The -m here specify the user's home directory. The user's home directory, where that user lives. If you want to assign that user to a specific home directory, use -m. Uppercase -d for default, to know the default setup of the user's command. Now, let's go into theory. Let's go into practical a little bit. All right. If we come here, we say user add ed uppercase D. Now, don't forget now. What did the uppercase D stands for? Default. To know the default setup of the what? User add command. So that put that into practice. User add -d. What do we have here? Group, home, that's a directory, inactive -1, expiration, shell, bin bash, scale, which is exe scale, create mail, spool, no, and blah blah blah, so forth and so forth and so on and so on. Let's move on. Now, to know the meaning of all of this stuff that we just showed on our command line, there where it is. This group stands for the group ID. This home/home is the user home directory. This shell stands for the shell they use. And then we have the skeleton shell. That's the meaning of this command output that we put here. The group ID, the group ID, the home directory, the shell they use, and the skeleton shell. Okay? If you have any question, please raise your hand. Don't have question and then we just go in and you're not learning anything or you're not really picking up what we need to pick up. All right. So creation of user account in a group. We did create two groups, right? We created manager, we created what? Engineers. So now how do we create user inside of those groups? To check if an account was successfully created on the system, you can list the content of the etc password file with the cat. We did this yesterday. Okay? But for the sake of the argument, let's go back to our PowerShell. Not PowerShell, but our Bash shell. So what do we do here? Etsy, cat Etsy password. Cat Etsy password will show you the users on the system. Now, we don't want to see all the users, right? So you remember the command I will use earlier on? Let me just back up. Tail. So we can tail -3 shadow. Bam. We got Tony, we got John, we got Chris. So it's the last 3 we created. What was the last 4 we created? Ubuntu, the system created Ubuntu for us. We did not create Ubuntu. But the last 4 was Ubuntu, Chris, John, and Tony. Now, what are we trying to get to here? What are we trying to get to? Let's come back. Let's come back here. Now, creation of user account in a group. The file contains lines with 7 fields. If we use DE to, hold on, let me move this from here to divide. Okay. File number 1, username. File number 2, password is stored in a different file as Etsy shadow. File 3, the user account ID. File 4, user group ID, so forth, so forth, and so forth. Type of account on the system. On our system, we have 3 types of account. A system account, a root account, and regular user. Don't forget, every time you log into the system, you're a regular user until you switch into root. Now the system has its own account. There's a lot of files and directory on the system that you did not create already there. Why? Because the system has its own account. Right? If we go back to Etsy password file, you realize that there are many accounts. We already saw that. We don't need to go back to that. Okay, these accounts are created by the system to run the server. You can notice that the shell used here is what? SBIN or no login. This means you cannot log into this account. So if you create an account with the shell SBIN no login, you won't be able to log into that account. By default, when you install the system, this account are created and blocked. Why are they blocked? So that hacker cannot use such account to break into the system. That's one of the beautiful things about Linux. Very safe. Very safe. Okay. Now, let's create some user with specific options. Okay.
Right.
That's the part you're waiting for, right? I see somebody answer me straight. All right, let's go into some practical, guys. Grab your machine, grab your mobile S10. Let's go into some practical here. Too much theory today. Let's do some practical. So we already created a user called John, right? So now we want to assign John a full name. We want to assign John to a primary group called manager, right? And we want to assign him to a secondary group called security. And then we're going to assign John or user ID. So now we're not just running user add anymore. We're adding some flavor to it, some juice to it to make it more spicy. So guys, grab your computers, let's have some fun. So the first thing we're going to run is what? User add, right? John. User add John. Space -c. This -c. Let's go back to just a recall. When we specify -c on here, just to back up a little bit, not too far away. All right.
Right there.
-c, what did we say -c does? that C help us what to add a user full name.
Mhm.
Now we don't just want to say John, we want to say John Paul or John Peter. So we're using that dash E, dash C, what?
For the
Handle.
username. Mhm.
So we say dash C because we want to put John full name. Now we put quotation mark. Now this time around, you're going to capitalize the man full name because you got to gain some respect, right?
Mhm.
So let's say John Paul. We close the bracket, we close the the quotation. So we are telling the system, add this user named John, but his full name is John Paul. This is what the command is telling the system. Learning system, you in charge. Whatever command you put in, that's what you get out. Garbage in, garbage out, right? Same concept. So now we want to assign John to a primary group. Let's go back a little bit. What is the handle we got to put on for primary group? Lowercase g.
Lowercase g.
So we'll come back here. Say, okay, system, add a user named John. But his full name is what? John Paul. So I'll use the what? That C,
Add it to the
quotation, open and close John Paul. Now, his primary group is what? Lowercase g. We want to get a primary group to be manager. Manager. And then we want to give, because John works in human resource. He's a human resource manager. So, okay, he's a security guy. He's a security manager. So we want to assign him to a primary group as manager, and then his role as a security. Because he need to have managerial access to the system, and he need to have access to the system as a security officer. So you have a primary group and a secondary group. What is the handle for secondary group? Uppercase G. Help us to specify secondary group to which the user belongs. So now we say dash uppercase G space manager. No, not manager now, but security. But before we do this, guys, every group that you add into this guy, make sure the group is already created.
Okay.
If the group is not already created, your command is going to fail. Okay?
Okay.
So let me see the group that I'm using here, whether they even created. I don't want to use shadow. I want to use the group command. Okay, right here. So you see here, I got manager, I got security, I got engineer. So any group that you're using, make sure that group is already created or else your command is going to fail. Okay? So let's go back. User add, system, please add this guy called John. His full name is John Paul. His primary group is manager. His secondary group is security. Security. Okay? Please write that command. Now, we want to assign on a specific user, a specific user ID. Why do we need a specific user ID? Because let me switch over to my Linux, my Red Hat system here. User add Peter. ID Peter. Now, this is why we want to create a specific user ID to Peter. Because if you see here, I did not assign any to Peter when I created him. So the system automatically created these IDs for the user, for the group, And for order, give all of them the same ID. Is it a safe thing to do? No, it's not. It's not a safe thing to do. So to avoid that, now we're going to add a user ID to this guy called John Paul. How do we assign a user ID, guys? How do we do it here? Home directory. Okay. It is not on here, but if you remember from yesterday, when we're doing permission, we had U. That U stands for what? User. So we're going to apply that logic here. Dash U, which is assigning a user ID, and we're going to add what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be John. Let's say 246. It's not good to do sequence number. 246 will be John's user ID. Are we on course, everybody? You got a comment written down?
Yes, but so is there a way? There are some numbers be more than 3. So sometimes you have 5 numbers. So it
You can
depends on
put any amount of number you want.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, I can put it up to 5. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. All right.
All right.
John already exists. So we cannot create John.
Uh-oh.
Let's come back. No big deal. John already exists. You can't have 2 John. So now let's create Peter, okay? Let's make him Peter. P-E-T-R. Just change the name. You already had John in your system. You can just change it.
So what if it says does not exist? Group name does not exist.
If it does not exist, then the command will work.
Okay.
All right. Teddy, I see your hand up. What you say?
Yeah, like similar question I'm asking about mine saying does not exist. So I already understand.
What does not exist? It cannot be the user. It gotta be maybe the one of
No,
the groups.
It said user group security does not exist.
Because he
it's
did
a
not
group.
create the group called security. That's
I
what I
mean, it's
told
a
you guys.
group manager.
You did not create a group called manager. Guys, when I'm running these commands, I'm creating this stuff, I expect you to go along with me.
Yes.
And before we even ran this command, I erased the whole command and went back and made that point. If you do not create the users or the groups, if you run the command, it's not going to work. I said that. So if you do not have security and manager, please create those 2 groups before you run this command. My command already went through.
Yes, mine went through to a creator. It's gone through.
Okay. So please create manager and security if you don't already have it, or else your command is not going to work. All right, let's move on. Now, how do we see the guy we just created? Let add the Peter, right? See there? We assign 2469 to Peter for a user ID. So as a system admin now, we just see the guy that they just hire him, right? And you assigning him to his group and everything. When Peter's gonna go log in and they're asking for a user ID, this is the ID Peter will use. Did we assign a password to Peter? No. Can someone tell me how we can assign a password to Peter? Besides Amara. Somebody please tell me, Amara and Kona. Somebody please tell me how we can assign a password to the user we just created, Peter. We're doing user management, guys. Teddy, Dan, George. I need somebody to answer me. How do we assign a password to Peter.
Yeah.
Kevin, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can we say PASSWD Peter?
Perfect. That's how you can send password to Peter or to anybody. Okay? So a PASSWD and then the name of the what? User, Peter. The system will say new password. Let's give Peter ABC123. Enter. ABC123. Enter. Successful. So now the new guy that just came on, you added you, the system admin, you added him on now. So now you're gonna send an email to him. Hey Peter, welcome on board. To log into our system, your user ID is 24689. Your password is ABC123. This password is going to expire as soon as you log in. So you will be prompted to log in to change your password to your preferred password. Guys, the system admin working right there. Okay? Are we getting it?
Yes.
I'm grabbing the concept, right?
Mhm.
I want you to grab the concept. All right. Do we need to do another example before we move on? Or are we good?
We can do another example. But
Okay, somebody gonna share the screen for this one. Somebody gonna teach us. Who do I call here? Kelvin, you got your computer?
Yeah, I got my computer.
Yeah.
All right, share your screen for us. You're gonna create
Yeah.
uh
No.
you're gonna add a new user. We just hire a new guy. The guy name is Ben. His name is Bento.
okay.
We want to add him.
Don't
He's
make
a
me
security,
Mexican food.
huh?
Oh crap.
So the guy name is Bento, and we want to add Bento to Bento is the engineer manager. So we want to add him to a primary group will be manager, a secondary group will be engineer. So please share your screen and tell us how we're gonna do that. We're gonna do it together. So don't be too afraid. Clear your screen small. You got 2 minutes stuff going on. All right, can you maximize your font size a little bit? Yeah, increase it a few times so that way we can see it better.
U.S. president's justification for taking action.
One more.
Going to sit well with a lot of his critics as well as a lot of his.
Perfect. Guys, when you're not talking to us, please lower your volume so it doesn't interfere.
Sorry, I got TV, no?
All right, you can get lower volume a little bit more, will be great.
Yeah.
All right. So Kevin,
Mhm.
the information here is we just hired a new guy. The guy name is Benjamin Toll, right? He's a security, he's an engineer, but he's the manager for the engineer department. So we want to create him with a full name, and then his primary group will be manager, the secondary group will be engineer. Okay. So please, let's go. What will be the first thing we'll do here?
You say we're creating a user.
The user, yeah.
We're adding a user. His name is Benjamin Toll.
Right.
And he's an engineer, manager. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have the group created. Okay?
Mhm.
So just tail -5 or -3 and then space. No. Cancel that thing. Control C. What are you tilling? You're not tilling anything. Record that. Space. / etc. etc. There where all the configurations are etc / group. That's how you see the last 3 groups you have on your system. Enter. So you only have security, Kevin. All the group I told you to create, you did not create them.
I did
Okay.
create them. Hold on, let me see. I created them.
Well, it's not in there. It's not there. Group add, engineer. Did you create it on a different machine?
I think so. I did on this side. It's the same machine.
It's the same machine?
Yeah. And that's nothing, but let me just create a different one.
You can just create different one quick.
Okay, yeah.
Group add.
So group add engineer. Enter. Engineer already exists. Okay. So
I created engineer, I
add,
created
you
manager,
got-
I created security.
Okay, so then why we didn't see it? Okay, said how they call it? Okay, just cat. This time don't tell. Cat space etc group. Space no / we wanted to start from the root directory. / etc group. Enter. Oh, okay, because we did 3. So that's why we didn't go all the way back. Okay. You got manager, security, and engineer. All right, you can clear that. Control L. Perfect. So now the guy name is Benjamin Toll. So let's create it, assign him to group. No. User add. User add. Ben. Space. No. Just say Ben. Yeah. Space. Now we want to add his full name. So it will be -C. Space. Quotation mark. Now you can put a full name in there using capitalization. No, capitalization, a full name will be Benjamin in the quotation mark, not outside of it, inside of it. Benjamin Toll, that's a full name, Benjamin Toll. No, Jamin. Min. Space Toe. Close the quotation mark. Space. Now his primary group. What's the letter for primary group, guys?
Small g.
Yeah, dash lowercase g. Then you put a primary group after the space. Primary group is manager.
Manager.
Space. His secondary group is what letter? Uppercase G. Perfect. He will be engineer. Okay. Space. Now we want to assign or use our ID to him. What is the perfect? That's you. Come up with any number and just add it there. Don't put sequential numbers.
Yeah, 1542, something like that.
Okay. Perfect. Enter. Okay. So Benjamin Toll is created. Now we want to see the new user you just created. What is the command for that?
ID.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, ID bin. Enter. Voila. There you go. So you got the idea now?
Yep.
That's sweet, yeah.
So guys, we now know how to create user and assign a user ID and a group, primary and secondary group for that user. Perfect, 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 perfect. Okay? So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Thank you, your brother Kevin. You can start sharing your screen. Let
Thank
me
you
share
too for letting
mine.
me to share.
You are welcome. You see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. We kind of went way ahead of the slides, but let's go. We'll catch up with it. Okay, this is where we were. All right, guys, let's move on. So let's create another user with a specific ID. We already did this, right? We don't need to do it again. All right? I created one with you guys. Kevin created one with you guys. So we don't need to do it again. So create another user with a specific shell. You're never going to have to do this. So let's not waste our time on it. All right? If you just want to have fun with it, guys, you can come on here and just play around with this. But creating a user and assigning shell to them, you don't have more than one shell on the system. Most of the Linux system, well, I shouldn't say that, but most of the Linux job you're going to have is going to be Bash. You're going to be running your commands on the Bash shell. Okay? So we don't need to do all of this. The most important thing is know how to create a user, know how to create group, add a user to that group, assign user ID to them, you're good to go. Now, in the /home directory, modify when we create user is it modify when we create user? That's a question. Let's check. When we list the content of /home directory, we have cd home, change the current directory to home. If we ls home, we're gonna have, oh, okay, I didn't know this. Let's go try and see. So now let's go to home, /home, ll, not so much. Oh, okay. The reason is that what directory were they in when they created this group? Let me go back. It doesn't say, but I do not see. Okay, /home, cd home, and then ls. All the user we created have a folder in the home directory. Okay, when you log in as a user and type pwd, the result will always contain /home directory in the path. Home/username. Let's see something. Let's see something here. Okay. It didn't make any difference. Let's see here. CD. It was from yesterday. Let's go back one directory. CD. We don't have our user created in this home directory. So this is not relevant to us. Let me see something here. CD that pwd as in root. Let me exit out of root and see. Config sudo admin ssh catch. All right, cd slash home slash Chris. Those are file directories. Yeah, because we don't have it. Sudo dash I .l. Okay. CD slash home. Okay. Trying to see how is this relevant to what we just did, but it doesn't seem to be. So let's move on. Let's move on, guys. Switch to user and run a command pwd, blah, blah, blah. Go back to root user su in home directory. And then, okay, how to delete an account? How do we delete a user on the system? To delete a user on the system, when you need a user account, remove from server, delete user account, we use the user del username. Let's delete the user students from our system. After this, you cannot log in as a student anymore. But the folder student is still present in the home directory. The command user del username deletes a user account but keep the home directory. Okay. Use the -arrow option to delete the user's home directory folder. So user del -arrow John. Then I will delete it. Okay, let's give that a shot. Okay. Let's give it a shot. User del. Who do I want to remove from my system?
Manager.
No. User.
User, okay, that
Do I want to remove Chris? I didn't put too many things inside of Chris. So let's remove Chris. All right. Now, if we want to see Chris, is still here. No such user. Chris is gone. Simple as that. You want to delete him from the home directory, put a -arrow, and then do that. Cannot print only names or real IDs in default format. Okay, that's because Chris is already gone. So I should have added this -arrow on the first command up here. Okay? So it's just simple as that. You want to remove a user del, the name of the user. You want to completely eradicate them in the home directory. You add a -arrow to it to move on from there. When you don't understand how commands works, always think of reading its manual before looking elsewhere for help. Man, command name. We did that earlier on today. Okay, how to modify a user account. Another important information. Now, when you realize that you have made a mistake while creating a user account, you can still modify it. To modify the user account is what? User mod. User mod. User add, group add, chain mode, chain one, user mod, all these different commands, guys. Get used to them. They may sound like Chinese to you at some point, but when you start working on the job and you start using these, you will see the importance of them. So let's try to get used to them. All right. Now, we want to modify a user. So let's say, for example, the user we created Peter Paul, right? Let's modify the description of the user John we created previously. The description was the user full name, John Jenkins. So let's go back here. Let's go back here and recall something here. Let's recall that command we ran. Come down a little bit. That command we ran. Where is it? Right here. So maybe when we're running this command, we made a mistake. And Peter, his last name was Paul. It was actually Paula. So we have to go back to the setting to make that correction. On a Windows computer, you just go to the user, go there, and then left click, modify, you're done. Linux, you need to run a command to do that. Okay? So now, instead of user add, we're going to change the user out of user mod, which is user modify. User modify, we're going to change Peter's last name to Paula. Because we made a mistake, we let the A out or created this user before. Okay? Can we do that? Everybody go back and modify the user Peter Paul to Peter Paula. Just recall the command, change user out of user mod, and then add an A to the Paul, and make it Paula. We'll be taking a break in 5 minutes. We've been going for too long now. You got it? Okay, let
Well,
enter. So Peter has been modified. We got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's run tail-5. And then let's do the etc password, right? What do we see here? We have changed Peter Paula. I record it. I want to change the guy whole name. Peter Perkins. User mod. Enter. Record. I do etc -3. Peter Perkins. Simple as that, guys. Are we following?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. 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 That's how you modify the user. And that's how you check to see if the user you modify has been modified. Go to your etc password folder or file, and then you can see that. Okay. Now, how do we modify a user account? How do we modify a user account? Any idea?
How to modify user account?
Mm-hmm.
See.
Guys, do some research. How do we modify user account? Let me declare a little interactive. I shouldn't be the only one talking. Talk to me.
Excuse me.
Anybody? Somebody else say something? We're almost there
So
now. We're
you
almost there.
user mode.
Yeah, user mod, and then what?
And then the username.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to to get to you is that I don't just want to be talking and I feel like you're not getting what I'm saying. To modify the user, that I've been doing it for the past, I don't know how many minutes, right? I just did it. We modified this guy. It was Peter Paul before we changed to Peter Paula. And then we changed Peter Paula to Peter Perkins. What are we doing here? We are modifying the user. So we say what? User mod. Okay? That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. I'm not asking you anything that I haven't taught you yet. Now, for user password, did we assign password to Peter?
No. Yeah, I think so.
Yes. How do we know if we assign password to Peter?
So
Shadow, right? Let's go to the shadow file. It should be in there.
yes,
Yes, we did assign password to Peter. Okay? If you want to change Peter password, you can always change it. Now you can also lock Peter password, or you can lock Peter on user account. How do we lock Peter user account? User mod. Now, what is the command? I want you to research this. The handle you're going to put on the command is -L to lock a user account. Say Peter is on suspension, you don't want to delete his account. So you lock that account until his suspension is over, so he can access any of the system. What is the command to do that? I'm going to show you something. When you're learning, when you're in the field of IT, you have to be what? Diversified. You have to be eager to learn. So it's perfectly okay. Go to Google, research stuff. It's not I don't know the command, but I just want you to show you how to look up some things, right? Okay. We said now what is the Linux command to lock a user's account? Enter. Nowadays, Google is associated now with AI. So you see it? Open a terminal, access the command line interface, which is a CLI, and execute a command. You don't need sudo because you're already in the root. Okay? So you say password -L and then a username.
By the time I go get a food, it wasn't.
The command will lock that user account. You see how we learn stuff, guys? You're not going to know everything as an IT professional. What makes you good on your job is what? The ability to research things that you don't know and then put them into practice. So let's copy this command. Let's copy this text, come to our terminal, and let's work some magic. It's going to paste that in here. What is our username here? Our username. Okay, let's say Chris. Chris probably going to pick on here all today. Oh, we deleted Chris' account already. So let's use
Peter, right?
use Peter. Yeah, let's use Peter. Let's use Peter. See there? Peter account is locked. He cannot log into that account anymore. So Peter did something in the punishing and the work, and he's on administrative leave. Don't forget, Peter that engineer. The man can log in that system when he might, he can mess up a lot of things. You need to go in the exit directory and change that whole system on properties and stuff. So we lock his account. System admin already locked Peter's account. Peter can never log in again. So after Peter is off from his administrative leave and he's back, how do we unlock that account? and recall the same command. The handle you're gonna
And put
use
it
here is
and
gonna
put a negative F on there.
import
Yeah.
dash U.
Okay.
Enter. See that password change.
Password change.
Now the same password he had before, that will be the same password. Are we getting something?
Oh, both.
So do not be afraid to go out there and research. Research stuff. There is no answer that you're looking for that. There's no question that you have that don't have an answer out there. You may have to do a little bit of digging to get the right answers you want, but you will find the answers. Okay? Go out there. Don't limit your knowledge only to what we have on these PowerPoint slides. Go out there and do research. All right? Let's come back to our PowerPoint so we can take our break. We're already behind time. All right. So we did all of this. Did this. This is what we just did. They want to say uppercase U. Should be actually lowercase. We did all of this. We did password to change password. We already did this. Okay. This is what we're just looking at. And then creating group is an efficient way to manage employees in a company system. User can have access to specific content on the system depending on the group to which they belong. That's the concept behind this. You don't need to be memorizing all the options for command. Just practice them and make sure you read the manual when you get stuck on a command. See you guys in the next section. All right. So we are going to take a little bit of break and then we'll be right back. Let's take like a 10 minutes break, okay? We already ran behind our time.
Crazy. Give her 10 minutes.
Why, too small?
No, not you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I
All
wasn't
right.
talking to you. I'm talking to somebody right here.
All right, let's take 10 minutes break, guys. We'll be right back, okay? And then we can wrap it up maybe by 11:15, 11:20. All right? Take 10 minutes break. All right, guys, 10 minutes is over. I hope you're back now. If you are back, please type back in the chat. Let's see who all is back. Okay, Amara is back.
But I'm here too.
You might again follow instruction. They say type in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy is back. Kelvin is back. Okay, let's move on. We have another 20 minutes to be done. Thank you, Connor. I see you. Okay. So guys, this will wrap up our week 1 to 2. So for the past 4 days, which are actually 2 weeks, we've been meeting and we have wrapped on our first section. I just want to show you something before we go on real quick. So we have down here, you have leave a comment, right? If there's anything about this section that you like, anything you did not like, any suggestion you have, you can put it in here. Or you just want to just anything, whether it's a positive, negative, feedback, whatever it is. Okay, you can put it in here. File in directories, the nation, these are all we learn in this class. To the next session, done. Just come down here. Okay. So you can do similar thing like that. You don't have to. You just post it. All right. All right. So we're going to transition now to week 3 to 4. So we actually have a little bit of time and we're going to transition to week 3 to 4. Week 3 to 4, we have package management, Yum, APT. I thought this is something we already did, but let's look into it and see. All right, let me see what they got here. Network configuration, okay. So this is not a lot. Ubuntu is the server you're using right now. Okay. Ubuntu is part of the Fedora family. It's a Fedora flavor. All right. Ubuntu, I'm here because we are Ubuntu 18.0. This is an old version. Right now we're using, how do we know what version of the OS we're using on our system? Does anybody remember that command? How do we find out what version of the?
Yes, you
Yeah,
use
go
a
ahead.
cat, the
Yeah.
cat /xc /starring release.
Perfect. So cat acid, how they call it, style release, right? So we are using Ubuntu, and our version here is what? 24.04. So the 18.0 is actually an older version. Perfect, perfect. That was a good one. So in this section, we're gonna learn how to download Ubuntu. We don't need to do this because you already have your Ubuntu on your virtual machine, which is the AWS. Okay. And then creating a virtual machine on the remote server. We don't need to do this because all our server is what is in AWS. Now, because we didn't do this, let's take a shot of AWS, how are these servers created, okay? You're gonna do AWS later on, but let's look into this. If we want to spin up, this is my AWS console. Go to my EC2 dashboard. This I only have 2 instances running here. So if I want to create an instance, I'll go here, right? Launch instance. Still want to create an Ubuntu server. We're just gonna put here Ubuntu server. You can give it any name you want though. 2, because I already have one there. Now you come down here. These are all the Linux flavor we have here. We have Debian. So Debian and Ubuntu are the same family, fall under Fedora. SUSE Linux, Red Hat, the same family. Windows is a separate OS by itself. Mac OS is a separate OS by itself. Linux, Amazon Linux kind of fall under Red Hat. Okay, there's a lot of other ones. Well, I think that's all they have here. So if you going to spin up a Ubuntu server, all you got to do is come here and click Ubuntu. Unlike the old ways, how we used to do it is we'll download VirtualBox, download the ISO image, put the image on there. I mean, it was a good learning experience, but that's a little outdated now, so we don't do that anymore. Okay? So you click on Ubuntu here, and then they have different tier that you can select. For this case, we have T2 Macro, which is the smallest. We have T2 Small, T2 Nano. It's another free tier. This one is not free. It will charge you 0.0058 US cent per hour. So you don't want to do that. You go to T2 Nano, it's not free either. You guys go to T2 Macro, this one is actually free. So now you can assign a key pair to this server, which is this one. I'm not creating a server right now, I'm just showing you how servers are created on AWS. Okay, but we can create one and then I can delete it. I don't need more than 2 servers. So I already created a key pair. If you don't have a key pair, you can create one right here by clicking this tab. And then you come down here, security group, it's automatic. Anywhere it means that the server is open to all traffic, SSH to and from. You can increase the gig size here, but 8 is good enough. You can add volume if you want. And basically, that's it. When you're done, you just say launch instance. Okay, let's give it a few minutes, and that instance is launched. What did you just do? You just created a computer on AWS. That's what we just did. To go to that instance, you can either come here, but I like to go here. Go here. It will take you to that instance that's running, right? Ubuntu Server 2. Now, we should have more than one instance running here. So let me go back to my dashboard. And we'll have 3 instances. 1, 2, 3. If I want to connect to the server, I click here. There's the private, the public IP. That's the one that's open to the public. There's a private IP too. Okay. So I copy my private IP here. Come to my Ubuntu server. Go to section. SSH. Here's my IP right in here. Specify user. How do we know the user for this IP address? They come here. Okay. Come here and then we go to then go to connect. And then we go to right here. See username, Ubuntu. That's a username you're gonna specify in here. So we pull UBUNTU. Yeah, Teddy, I see your hand up. What's up?
Yeah, we just observing for now or following.
Yeah, you just observe it. You don't need to do this. Okay. There's the key pair we added to that. So I could select this key pair, open, and then boom, I'm connected to that server. So this way, it's easier. Back in the day, we used to use something called VirtualBox, this guy right here. And sometimes we'll take the whole class just trying to troubleshoot VirtualBox, setting people up, people having issue and this and that, all the kind of issue. Some of the old students here can attest to that. So we literally took less than 5 minutes to just spin up a whole machine in the cloud, AWS. Simple as that. See our IP address for our new machine? This is IP address right here. Okay? So our IP address. Is that the same IP address we have in the cloud? Yes, right here. 75.101.195.71. What do we have here? Wait a minute. I think I got the wrong one. 75.101.175.91. 71. Wait a minute. Let me see something. 75.101. Why is it different from here though? Why is it different from what we have here than what we have up here? Huh. Let me check the ones that are already running. Let me see something. So we have 172.31.88.171. Let me go back here, instances. Which one was this one? That's the Red Hat server. Let's see what we have for Red Hat IP address. Oh, so you guys see what I'm saying, right? The public IP address on the AWS console is different from actually what we have here in the output for RPA. Interesting. Interesting. I will have to research this and see why it happened. But that's very interesting. Very interesting. I have to see why it's like that. Okay. But the bottom line is I was just trying to show you how easy it is now to spin up a server in less than 5 minutes on Amazon Web Services than it was trying to do it through VirtualBox. We don't do that anymore. All right. So we don't need this machine. Let's just close it and then come back on our Amazon. Make sure we close that machine, even though it's free, but we don't want to have it running the whole time. All right. So it's already selected. No, it's this one. I don't want to take this one out. So to stop this machine from running, we just come here to instant state, right? And then we stop the machine from running. You just confirm that. After the machine is stopped running, you can come back here and terminate it, meaning you're deleting the machine. All right, that's the basics, guy. So come back to our PowerPoint here. We don't download this stuff anymore. The Ubuntu VDI, actual image, and blah blah blah, all this stuff. We don't do this anymore. All right, so we're just gonna run through this. If you want to spin up Ubuntu server on AWS, we can do that in less than 5 minutes. Okay. So the PowerPoint needs to be updated. For those of you, the old student, you know exactly what this thing is for. All right, this whole used to do before to spin up our machines on our VirtualBox. And then we log in. It is the desktop for Ubuntu. And then we go on from there, run our commands, bridge adapter, all that kind of thing that, we are in the cloud now. So everything we need to do has to be in the cloud. All right. So we did not need that. We'll go to network configuration. We may not need network configuration, but as a Linux system, I mean, you're probably gonna need it, especially when you're working on legacy servers. All right. What is Chris? What do you mean legacy servers? Legacy servers are older version of servers. They're called legacy servers. There are some application that cannot run in the cloud. And we have that at the company I work for. Our application, some part of it cannot run in the cloud. It has to be ran on legacy servers. And that's why we use Tomcat. Okay? Tomcat is a legacy server. One of our application we call Vision Node, it runs on Tomcat because well, it's a legacy server. You cannot put that in the cloud. All right? Move on here. Network parameters, check current network configuration, configure network parameters. So let's see what we have for this. So we have IP address, host name, gateway, DNS, subnet max. So IP address is a unique identifier for a computer. In America here, just how you have your social security number, and so is IP address to your computer. Now, IP address can be dynamic and it can be static. Dynamic means that when you move this computer from your house and go to, say, McDonald's, the IP address is going to change based on the IP address that is being assigned to your computer from the router at McDonald's. Now, if you want your IP address to not change no matter what part of the world you go, you have to make that IP address dynamic. It's a way to do that. All right. One of the way to do that is a command called mn_tweak. Did I get it right? Yeah, I think so. No, I think it's nmtwr. No. Okay, this is Ubuntu. Let me try Red Hat. Ubuntu, some of the commands can be still. Okay, right here. So we can actually make the IP address to the server to be dynamic. So you come here, you run a command, will bring you to this GUI, and you see edit a connection, activate a connection, set system host name. We can change the host name here to this computer. Okay, Chris, why are you just saying that? Why can't we do it? Okay, let's do that. This is the current host name for our computer. What do we mean by host name? Host name is the name given to the computer. Let's come back here. All right. Host name is the name of the server. So we can change the name of the server using that command. So when we get in here, we just use our erase or delete button. And then we can call this machine. We can actually call it Red Hat server. There's two ways to do this, and I'll show you the other way to do it. Okay. So after we do that, we can come here, we say okay. And then what? I'm able to set host name. Saving the host name field. GB bus error, blah, blah, blah. Everybody static name, Red Hat server. Okay. We say, can I accept that? So let's try a different one. All right. Try a different one. Let's just call it Chris server. Let's see what happens if it's gonna accept this one. Okay, it's not still accepting it. Why it's not accepting it? I really do not know. So let's go to network, edit a network connection. This is where we can set our IP addresses static. Now, the IP address in here is not going to be the same as our bare metal server. If there was a bare metal server, like what we had on the server we configure in our how they call it, in our VirtualBox, we're actually going to see the IP address here. We could set it up, make it static, or make it dynamic. But the idea here is that for you to be able to see these things and see how they are done. All right. So to exit out of here, edit connection. Let's see. Let me see. Activate connection. Same thing. So you can activate it. You can deactivate it right in here. All right. So they come down here. Okay. And we're out of there. Now the other way to do this, we can say what? Vim, etc, host name, enter. We don't have host name. Oh, okay. So Red Hat is not accepting Vim because I think it's not updated. So let's run an update. Yum update. Don't forget this Red Hat. So we use Yum. We say yes. Pulling all the latest kind of updating everything. So obviously this machine needed an update. As you can see, it's taking a little longer to run all the different updates that is needed. If you haven't updated your machine, if you're running Ubuntu, the command will be apt update. All right. If you're running Red Hat, it will be Yum update. Update is completed. All right, so let's run a command again and see what I will accept it now. Still Vim is not found. All right, let's use VI. VI etc host name. Voila. So we can actually change the host name in here. Go to insert mode, change the host name. We can call it Chris server. Let's just do that. And we'll save it. Now, for the system to pick up the new update we just did with the host name, we have to reboot this machine. So you just run a reboot command. And the machine will reboot. So give it like 2 minutes, 60 seconds, 120 seconds, and then refresh, and then you should see the new host name. All right. While we wait for the machine to come up, let's come back in here. Let's come back in here. We have less than 10 minutes. So we're talking about host name, IP address. Gateway is the gate or the route through which server connects to the internet. That's a gateway. All right. DNS, the domain name system or domain name server, is a service whose main function is to translate a domain name into an IP address. Subnets help to know the class of the IP address, whether it's IPv4 or IPv6. The IP address. There are two types of IP addresses, the static and dynamic, like I was saying earlier. So static IP address, this is when the IP address is given manually to each device by the system administrator. Static, you assign IP address to the system manually, and it does not change. Dynamic is automatic to a device. By the way, the DHCP server. DHCP server can be your router in your house. So if your IP address on your system is set to dynamic, like I said earlier on, everywhere you go, that IP address is going to change. But when you set it to static, it does not change. Okay? What happens before we connect on the Wi-Fi network? Now we're going all into network now, so I hope you're paying attention. When you want to connect a device or company or even a personal Wi-Fi network, or DHCP automatically assign an IP address to your device. DHCP server in your house is your router. That's your router. As soon as you enter the password, after that, you can access the network. Let's come back and check on our Red Hat server, and we can reboot it now. Yeah, it can be rebooted. You see here, the host name changed. Create server. Guys, are we learning something? Are we learning something? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, we are.
Okay. We just changed the host name. And I can tell you one fun. When I first started working at my current job, I think it was my second week or so. There was only two of us, two DevOps engineers, and the other guy is an Indian guy. 1 week after I started, the guy traveled to India. I traveled to India, I think, for a month and a half. And they needed to change the host name on a few servers. Me being there for my second week, they didn't want to assign it to me. Nobody knew how to do it. Guess what? Just from this class, I told them, okay, you can assign that ticket to me. I will change the host name. The first method I showed you that did not work, that's what I used to change it. But because, like I told you, all our servers in my company at that time were all bare metal servers. So I was able to go to the MN tweak on GUI, did my configuration there, restarted the machine, I changed the host name. I'm saying this to let you know that nothing you learn in this class is a waste of time. It's going to come handy one day. So please pay attention, ask questions, engage. All right, we basically just changed the host name of this computer. Now, every time we turn this computer on, this is exactly what's going to be showing. Even if I switch to a root user, it's going to be, the name is still going to be there. Let's do that. See it? Root at Chris server. That's how you do this. All right, let's come back here for a minute. So, network parameters, IP address. Why do we configure the network? In a company or in a data center, the network administrators usually set up the IP address manually to servers and devices. Those devices have static addresses. Now, if you become a cloud engineer, you're going to have nothing to do with network configuration, especially working in a big company. We have the network professional, network specialists that do networking stuff. The company I work for is a smaller company, so I do everything. I do network configuration, I do system configuration, I do DevOps stuff, I do automation, I do deployment, I do patching, update, what have you. So that's why to know a little bit of everything is very important. If I didn't, I was going to struggle on our job. Did I struggle my first few months? And so, yes, I did. But a little basic knowledge I took from the same classes you're in right now took me a long way, and they still carry me a long way. Okay? So you never know where you're going to fall. So pay attention to this stuff. If the addresses are managed by the DHCP server, they might be changing each time the device is reconnected to the network, just as a Wi-Fi network. The manual assignment of addresses is done to avoid those changes. So most of the servers in production, they're going to have static IP addresses. You cannot afford for that IP address to change because too many things can go wrong. Okay? Check the network current configuration. How to check network configuration. So this is going to be a CentOS 7 server. MNCLI, that is the network management command line interface. This is the command I was running before. This guy right here, MN2E, network manager tool utility that I was trying to access. And that will give you a GUI that you can operate from. GUI means what? Graphical user interface. Guys, when you go on a job, they will be speaking all jargons and abbreviations. I tell you, my first 1 week, 2 week on my job, oh my God, I was confused. GUI, CLI, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could not understand anything. Because why? They were speaking technical languages. But these are little stuff you need to know. You need to know what a CLI, you need to know what a GUI is, you know, all the little stuff. You need to know them. All right? We got a couple of minutes to go. The MN2E method is simpler. Make friendly and safe. Wow. I don't know what's the word hiding behind the symbol. For beginners, we are going to use that method for now. That's what I tried to show you guys earlier on. I think a little bit of ahead of the class. Now, in your terminal, you open ifconfig/all. This is not ifconfig. Now scroll down and check the wireless LAN adapter or Wi-Fi. Let's try that and see. Don't forget, these are not bare metal servers, these are remote servers, but we can always give it a shot, right? Let's give it a shot and see what we get. So ifconfig/all. So is not a command. Let's try that on Ubuntu. ifconfig/all. ifconfig not found. But we can install with what? apt install net2. Okay, Ubuntu is giving us option to install this. So let's do that. Let's do that. Command is kind of messing up. Come here and move this. Let's run this. Guys, are we following? Are we following?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay. Let's record that command and do this. Error fetching interface information, device not found. Again, these are our remote servers. These are virtual servers. They are a little set up different than the bare metal servers. So some of these commands are not going to apply. But we all know what ifconfig command does, right? If we just remove the all from there, this will give you your network configuration, what is connected, what is not connected. Okay? It's the same as RPA. You run RPA, you're going to get the same information. All right? All right. Now, we didn't see this, but we saw the output of it from RPA command. So we're going to stop here for today. And then we'll come back next week. We can start from IP address, how they are set up, gateway and DNS and all of the stuff. All right. So let's stop here for today. I have a couple of comments in here. Teddy said he's lost. Come back, Teddy. Why you lost? I'm able to get this PowerPoint. Leighton, Okay. All right. So guys, we're gonna stop here for today. We'll come back next week. We're gonna dive deeper into this stuff. I know we've been having a lot of fun with it, but you know, every good thing must come to an end. So that would be it for us today. Before we go, do we have any questions? Is there any question? Anybody? You
Yeah,
feel lost?
not, not really a question per se, but the PowerPoint slide.
Mm-hmm.
I try accessing the slide on the web page, but they always tell me against that lock sound will be very funny. And try to open it up, they'll tell me say lock.
You try to open it and tell you what?
I should log in or enroll. The only single.
Yeah, so did you
So
try
that
logging
open.
in?
But I don't know how why I'm gonna log in whether asking for username and password. I don't know.
So I thought Abraham said he assigned, he gave everybody that login information. Is AB on here by any chance? I know he was stepping out.
I didn't. I checked my email. I didn't see any.
Okay, I will ask the admin and see if does anybody else on here has problem with accessing the PowerPoint? Anybody? Okay, so I guess it's just you. I will let him know and he can get back to you on that, okay? Any other question? Any comment? Are we good? Let me stop sharing now. Okay, guys. Since there are no comment, no questions, I guess we all are good. Thank you for the time, and I will see you back here next week on Friday. This system is being recorded, but I do not know. It's not allowing me to stop the recording.
Yeah, AB was the one I started recording earlier before he came.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it wouldn't let me.
So I guess when we shut out, it might go up.
It'll go off. Okay. All right, guys. So that would be it. Thanks for the class. If you have any question after the class, just post it in the chat and we'll get back to you. Okay. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Chris. Good night, class.